God put a mark on the damned that would let others know they are not to be killed. Anyone who harmed the damned would be punished 7 times over. The damned were hidden from God's presence and forced to live out their lives carrying out the punishment of their cursed bloodline. The sin pumped through the veins of one descendant to the next. All bore the same mark. I know that my family carries a cursed bloodline. We were made to face the damned. Our blood makes us special. Our bloodline attracts the damned and gives us the power to fight them. The hunt continues for the one that got away, but my mission beckons me forth. This feeling I have is getting worse. Something pulls me west. I must find out why. I am the last one of us left. The blood of my family runs through my veins, and no one can take that away from me. I am not alone. I am their hope. I promise you. No matter what, come hell or high water, or actual hell itself, I am through with running. Flores Park had better be ready for me.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Ripping the Silverback. This is episode number 46, coming right off of, I don't know, something was going down last night, I believe, that may have been, a lot of people had some eyes on it. If I'm not mistaken, I believe something went down yesterday. But either way, we are having a show, and we're going to talk about, in a serious note, some of the reactions that is kind of, it's a ripple effect through, I think, all of the industries that we obviously commentate on, and we'll be talking about that, of course, as well as some other things, because as has been, as you know, suffering through Dragon Age. I've even played a little bit of Dragon Age, so we're going to talk about some of that as well. But of course, I'm joined by my co-host, the Silverback himself. What's up?
How you doing? Whose football team won yesterday? I hope it was the woman, because she's funny. I love the way she comes on camera. She pretends to be drunk, and she goes, and it cracks me up. I hope she wins. She seems like a good time. She seems like a really good time. And I'm doing good. And look what I got in the post today.
Ooh. That box looks familiar.
Yeah, they sort of look a little bit familiar. Should we just crack one of these open?
I think we should.
Open, eh? Let's see what's in here. Huh? 9.9 did I just see? Did I just see a 9.9? Oh, yes, I did. Oh, baby! There we go.
Look at that.
Nice and baby.
Look at that.
Let's get out there.
The OG Cover A Signature Series.
Oof. That's an oof. Look at that back as well, man.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Igor for that art. I love that.
Isom got back, baby.
Oh. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
I got my 4. So I'm gonna unbox these.
Yeah.
If you want to tell the good people which football team won or whatever.
Yeah.
I know.
So as he's unboxing those, I had an interesting stream last night. It's one of my biggest streams no, it's not one of them. It might have been maybe the Trump assassin, the first. That's funny. Like, you got to say which one when you talk about assassination.
Yeah, which one? One or two.
Yeah, exactly. So the first one, that was a pretty big stream, but I had a stream, longest I've streamed in a very long time. Got my work done for the day, and I figured, you know what? Let's do some commentary stuff. Let's talk about what's going on. And it was interesting because we were specifically watching like the more or less. I could have easily watched like my colleagues over at the Blaze. Look at that. They cover B with Yaira. I could have easily, because I wasn't there. I could have watched. We could have watched Blaze. We could have watched. Obviously, I know Daily Wire was doing coverage. There's other people that let's say non-leftists that were covering it. But I wanted to hear from the mainstream guys as well as the general, just to see how they would respond. And you could see that faces start to change. You could see the neglect. It was bad. It was bad. Steve pushing all the buttons. Refusing to call Penn. It was quite the time, and so much to talk about that came from that. I don't want to spoil the entirety of the show, but there's so much that came from that. And what is that? A 9.9?
It's a 9.9 with Alpha Core on the front.
With Alpha Core on it. First appearance of Alpha Core.
I'm full mass right now.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go with a 9.9. Shout out. Cover C.
Oh,
so yes, guys, you guys should be getting those. If you haven't got them already, you should be getting the bulk of those. Because you know the guys at the warehouse are making that happen, man. So big shout out to everybody that got in on this signature series. That is probably the rarest of the items right there that he has, because we only printed 2,000 of those in total. And that is the concept art. Well, you can see the original concept art from.
I've been waiting for this one.
It is. It's not a whole lot of those that are out there, as well. So I think we actually end up selling out of those. If not, there's like only a few left, if there were any, of the signature series versions of this book. So yes, big shout out to Az, obviously, for grabbing those, and big shout out to all of you guys, because again, that was a successful collection that we ended up closing down.
Bought and paid for, dude. I bought them and I paid for them.
And he paid for them. That is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
So so much is going on. We're gonna look at some of these reactions, but I know you're across the way.
Yeah.
So you keep eyes on it, you keep tabs on it, but you're a little more removed from it than everybody else. My mind, I'll start by saying this, as I always do. I made a video go live because I already knew he was going to win. So I made a video go live while I was streaming because I had already recorded it before I went there, and I was talking about more of the cultural stuff. And I talked about, I believe we spoke about it last week, how I think that people should anticipate that there's going to be a kickback that could potentially be worse. I think it is going to be worse than 2016, as far as Hollywood, as far as the games developers, as the writers are concerned, comics. I think that they're going to be very spiteful after losing, and I think that you're going to see in the next coming years some very spiteful material. Now, I know you and me, we're for the most part over it, right? Like it's like, okay, if you're going to run or you want to run your company into the ground, congratulations. Go for it. That's your business. That said, where was your mind going as you saw all this develop? Because it was about your morning time, right? When they finally conceded that there's no way that Kamala can win.
Yeah. Well, I'd just come off the back of a 12-hour Dragon Age failgun. So I was mentally ill, right? I had taken Mike Tyson haymakers to the temples without gloves. And I was suffering from CTE of the CTE. And I came off that stream. I popped into your stream for a little bit, went out for a bit of a walk, came back, put on Jeremy, watched a bit of Jeremy for a bit, and they'd called it. Well, some people had called it. There was some holding out.
Yeah,
refusing to call
they were
it.
all holding out. It was last to call Pennsylvania. They just didn't want to do it because they knew that had to be one for her to have a chance.
And I think one of the differences between this and 2016, and bear in mind, by the way, in 2016, I was Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
I was full fucking leftist, Trump, Orange Man bad. You know, let's give women a chance. And then I realized, oh God, what a fucking mess that is. And all that kind of jazz. And the difference I feel between 2016 and this is this actually seems to be a significant silence.
They didn't ride over in the streets this go around.
There was a huge furore online, and obviously, you know, screaming, smelly women out in the streets and whatnot. This time, it just seems to be silence, as almost as if it was expected to a degree. I don't think, apart from, you know, your staunchest of staunched, I think a lot of people actually saw the writing on this wall.
I think the people that weren't retarded, they would have had to see the writing on the wall. And I guess we can actually open with this as you carry on with your topic.
I mean, you know, I don't have any fighter in this. You know, I'm British,
right.
So it doesn't affect me. I mean, I'm completely here for the memes and the Schadenfreude and all of that business. Yeah, I'm totally there for that. But I think, as an outsider looking in, one thing that was very apparent, and by the way, if an outsider looking in sees this, then the regular person in America sees this. Regular man, the regular woman sees this. The ones that don't go on social media or aren't terminally on social media, aren't involved in the culture war, they're just getting on with their lives. One thing that I did see, and it's what I saw in 2016, and it's what actually made me start to ask questions of why did this guy get in? And then in asking those questions and having conversations with people who voted for Trump, I you know, I hate to use that. I felt educated. No, I felt as if I could understand.
Right.
And one thing that I always said was Trump can connect with the common man, and I use the common man as a generic term. You know, he knows how to speak to people. He knows how to communicate with people. He doesn't use political talk. He uses words that people can understand, and he's straight shooting. What I saw with the campaign with Kamala is everything seemed fake.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everything seemed staged. Everything seemed fake. There didn't seem to be any genuineness there whatsoever. And if I can see that, I'm not the most, political guy or savvy guy, but I can read people, and we, a lot of people can read people. And I think if I could see it, a lot of people in America could see this. They could see that one person just wasn't genuine. One person was doing all these fake little campaigns, these fake little speeches, the lies that came out. No, she wasn't using an auto cue. Then there's imagery that comes out and video that comes out clearly using auto cues. Edited interviews which were fucked up because the actual interview came out, and then and I think that just says to the regular man or woman that this person's not trustworthy. Because if you are covering your ass and lying with stuff which can easily be disproved, then how on earth are you going to run the country? How on earth are you going to be trustworthy enough to run a country? So from outside looking in, one person seemed, regardless of how competent you think they are, or regardless of how you like them or dislike them, one person seemed genuine, seemed to genuinely love his country, seemed to genuinely want to fix things, seemed to genuinely want to put his country on top. And the other one seemed like a whole stage production of Alice in fucking Wonderland. Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good like point. And look, it is different this time as far as it does by all accounts, unless they find a couple of boxes in the back of the U-Haul with a few million votes. It's possible. But if they can find those, then whatever. But it does look like he's going to win the popular vote. as well as the Electoral College. So that does show that there was already a cultural shift there. And I think that anybody that was even, again, you didn't need to be a political commentator where like guys like myself or do stuff with Blaze, where it's essentially our jobs, right, to stay tapped into this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily be that to I think any common man could look at this and said, okay, it would have taken a lot of shenanigans for Kamala to pull it off and it be believable in comparison to before. Now, you did have the guys like we're showing Mark Hamill here, who was a delusional fool, and there were those.
He's not even a real person anymore. He's not, though. He's not. You know, the guy's absolutely loopy. He's lost it. He's fucking Tom Cruise jumping up and down on the sofa on Oprah. That's who he is now. I love Katie Holmes. I'm totally not into dick in the ass. You know, he's that level of delusional now. I don't think even people that like Kamala can fucking take Mark Hamill seriously.
Yeah, he was delusional. There was a lot of the elites that were at least they put on the front publicly that they were so confident that this was it. I saw the hashtag Kamala walks landslide. It wasn't anything close to that. Where it looks like it was a landslide, let's say the other way, especially with the Electoral College, at least as close as it could get in modern history. So it will be interesting to see. Like I said, I do believe these are spiteful people. Mark Hamill, since that post, hasn't posted anything.
No,
so he went into hiding.
Maybe he's spending some time with his granddaughter. What's this over here?
Oh, and that thing was on the ballot in a lot of states. There.
What, his granddaughter?
Well, not it's something that the granddaughter did. Let's just say that, or that he advocated. Nonetheless, lots of confidence in these people, and I do believe that a lot of them got eggs on their face. So let's
no, again, they got fetuses on their faces, but okay.
Yeah. And again, if you look at some of these ballot initiatives, some of the stuff that was on, like they were talking about abortion up to 24 weeks. And oh man, it's gonna be a special place in hell for a lot of these people. Nonetheless, let's watch some of the cope from everybody's favorite show. Let's start here, titled The View.
I fucking love this show.
Not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher.
Stop. Toots, sweetheart, darling, pussycat. You ain't give a shit about the working class, and you probably haven't for about 30 fucking years. Yeah. So please, let's not fucking. I love it when millionaires, multi-millionaires, talk about how connected they are to the fucking working class. Let's see your nails. Fucking darling.
And their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have. And I remember my father telling me many years ago that
it's the right to kill their children. That apparently is the single issue that now again, Trump is far more, I think, pro-abortion than they give him credit for. But that's the issue that they are so clinging on to, that they think that, well, this means people's rights are they're just gone, especially with women. They're taken away if they can't kill their children up to 24 weeks.
Now, hear me out.
Yeah.
We take the vote away from women. No, Eric, hear me out.
I'm listening.
No, it doesn't matter. You're clearly not interested. Whatever.
Oh man. Let's listen to how she is.
The chat like we're listening. We're listening. Keep going. We are listening. As keep going. We are listening.
Oh Jesus.
Wait a minute. What was that last thing you said?
Jesus.
Say it again.
Jesus. We need him for sure.
Jesus. Let him cook.
Family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that. So again,
the examples are, she's not going to throw them out there, but I'm telling you, as it's only the ability to kill children. That's it. Babies, particularly. That's it. That is all that they are clinging on. There's nothing outside of that she is referring to when she talks about loss of civil rights and shit.
Profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming.
My January 6th. Still.
Again, can I just say, as an outsider looking in, as somebody who saw the footage from January the 6th, saw the inside footage,
saw the grandmas with the
it's from outside looking in, it's like you come across as just a disingenuous, fake liar. We've seen the footage. We've seen how people were ushered in. We saw how controlled it was.
Yes.
We saw that there wasn't any shenanigans going on. AOC nearly got graped, apparently. She wasn't even in the same fucking building.
Nope, she was
in another building over there. But there again, this is somebody, of course, who fake handcuffed themselves.
Yeah.
Fake handcuffed themselves. And it's silly. It's like, you are a privileged multi-millionaire piece of shit. That's what you are. No, I'm not trying to be provocative. That's what you are. You are a bored. You have nothing to do with your fucking life. You're fucking unintelligent, as in you lack common sense. You lack rational thinking, critical thinking, and you've been put on the fucking TV to be a performative clown.
Yeah.
Like we are. We're performative fucking clowns, mate. Yeah. We're here to
dance.
Just
think they're far more important than we are.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that we know where. Well, I mean, you're a little bit above my station, mate. But I know my fucking position on the food chain, right? But people like no. They think their money and they think their access and their job or whatever it may be provides them with a position above people. And this is probably why the Orange Man won again. It's because I think a lot of Americans and chat, the Americans in the chat here, I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, so do tell me if this is correct or incorrect. But I do think that the actual common man, the person that does get up at 7 a.m., works a hard-time job, and I'm talking to the women here as well, of course, obviously, that goes out, works 8 hours, 9 hours a day, comes back, cooks tea for the fucking kids, maybe gets a couple of hours to sit on the sofa with their significant other, the husband, wife, whatever, watches a little bit of TV show, goes to bed, does it all over again. Do you know what I think those people are sick and tired of? Being talked down to.
Absolutely.
By fucking multi-millionaire fucking twats.
Yes.
And I think that's something that people are getting really fucking sick of. Because you certainly do not represent that in any capacity whatsoever.
Right. Let's Broad finish out what she has to say.
President of the United States. I think
he took away her melanin or
the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States, then you should not.
Every one of these people in the audience is a liberal woman, white, and over 38.
Women in this country, because I remember
most of them live off their husband's money, by the way, and don't have jobs. Just saying.
My jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons. Well, and so that box better be taken off. And I think our healthcare system is now at risk. I think
No fluoride for anyone.
Yeah, economists have made clear
Buy some
that
toothpaste.
he's going to increase the debt by $7.75 trillion.
Okay, well,
Who gave you that?
Again, I'm willing to bet they're Keynesians that pulled that number. They pulled it right out of their ass. Yes, the debt's going to be a problem if it goes unaddressed. I'll be the first one here to say that. That was one of the things that I grilled Trump on. His spending efforts were utterly fucking atrocious. That said, it coming from her is ridiculous because we know that the demon rats have just as much of a spending problem as the fucking Republicans do. So it's not like, oh, well, I fear for spending. It's like, wait a minute, where have you been for the last 4 years? 3 years and some change. Did you just not care about spending then? Did it not matter? Now all of a sudden you want efficiency?
Right. Hear me out. Okay. Stop giving trillions to Ukraine.
Yeah, that will help. I
don't know much about the American economy, but one thing that I do hear very often coming out of their mouth, maybe stop giving trillions of dollars to other countries.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a great starting point. You put that perfectly.
I'm worried about mass deportation and internment camps, and I'm
why? Well, I mean, deportation is not a bad thing, and I have even heard this speech from Trump, and he said we're fine with people coming into America.
Mm-hmm.
We welcome people. He even talked about
in his winning speech,
in the acceptance speech. Yeah. We are fine with people coming into America. We just want them to do it properly.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with controlled immigration. But this is we've seen the amount of people coming through the borders in terms of this spike. This is uncontrolled, and just it doesn't matter what country you live in. The ability to vote when you are not a national member of that company, you're not a fucking resident of that country is insane. And that's just called importing voters.
I have to ask because I want to know from this is a perfect question for you because I've seen posts from people because they've seen, like, for example, celebrities standing next to a fucking mailbox dropping their vote off. And I've seen like people like, is this how y'all fucking do elections in America? Is it like that, like just loose? I need to see it from your perspective. Like when you see like how that we handle the absentee votes and again everything's they're moving towards these again where you can just essentially you don't need to show ID. Like, is that absolutely fucking insane to you?
We have to show ID. We have to show ID to vote. In actual fact, I have just gone through. I fucking shit ye not. I have just gone through nearly 7 months of trying to prove my identity to get a piece of fucking documentation. Everything, and it was because I was sending the right documentation, but I was either missing just a single piece, or the piece that I sent in was a photocopy, and they wanted the actual original. And I'd lost the original years ago, so I then had to reapply for an official piece. So I had to like reapply. And it was just a rigmarole to get a very minute piece of documentation, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to voting, we got to go off there and we got to show ID. You don't show ID, you don't get to vote.
Well, you'd be surprised that people, for some reason, in America, think that you're racist.
You need ID to buy cigarettes in this country. You can get ID'd for cigarettes. You can get ID'd for alcohol. Yeah. You need to have ID to drive your vehicle because you need your driving license with a picture on it. So you need all these IDs. Why would you not need you need an ID, of course, to go to different countries. It's called a fucking passport. It shows who you are. Why on earth would you not need an ID to vote on the future of your country that you're resident on? I wouldn't imagine if I went over to Japan, I wouldn't imagine I could walk into their fucking election booths and vote.
They just look at you
in California. I could do it in New York.
Yeah, true.
So
If you were
somebody,
there.
somebody said, I posted a little tweet yesterday. I said, America is great again. Let's make gaming great again. Now, that wasn't an endorsement of the Orange Man. It was a play on the slogan that's been used.
Right.
That was his slogan. If Kamala's slogan was "Let's get drunk again," I would say America's drunk again. Now let's make gaming, great. Whatever. It would have been like that. And somebody posted to me. They put Trump's conviction, sexual assault conviction thing up.
Yeah.
And it went something like, "Congratulations, you voted for a convicted sex offender," or something. And first of all, based. Second, I said, "I'm British, you fucktard."
Yes.
Right? Which a lot of people laughed at. But then some people rightly said, by the way, that doesn't prevent you from voting in some of the states in America right now, which is absolutely true. Yes. So yes, I could have said I nearly actually did put "I'm British, you fucktard," so of course I voted in the American elections.
That would have been good.
You let me.
that would have been good. That would have been really good. But yeah, no, it was bullshit anyway. It's not.
Yeah. Everyone knows that.
Yeah,
everyone knows they use a railroad.
Yeah. So, let's hear it out before we move on to the next clip.
So worried about Elon Musk warning Americans to prepare for temporary hardship. And
all right, so there's one more coming from The View that's even more hilarious that I want to make sure we watch. Let's check this out real quick.
In Finland, kids in nursery school are learning to discern between fake news and real news. Yeah. They should be teaching that in this country. Yeah, teach children.
By who?
Teach them to think.
By them, of course.
Exactly.
Of course, they're the one that teach you what's the real news versus the fake one. That's all this is about. Look. The thing, and this is why they hate Elon so much, and we've talked about it. One of the just the general conversation, damn the election, just a general conversation about just socially was fundamentally changed with Elon purchasing X or Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, he purchased Twitter.
Yeah,
he turned it into X.
Turned it into X, right? So. That made them so mad because, as we've known, and as those initial Twitter files indicated, they were working directly with the alphabet agencies to basically suppress people's suppress certain viewpoints on the website. So we know it was happening there. We know for sure that it was happening. We know, for example, with the Hunter Biden laptop situation. We know for a fact Meta suppressed that. So they want to be able to control the conversation, and Twitter not being in their hands anymore. And look, even if you have problems, they're still getting banned. I think we can all agree that of these sites, the main social media sites, X is the one that you fear less of being banned, right? In comparison to a YouTube.
100%. Yeah. If I said half the things I said on Twitter on Facebook, I wouldn't be on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook because I know there's no point in even making a Facebook account because I'll be banned within 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. So that, but that was a cultural shift, and they are like she is now lashing out because, well, information is flowing a lot more freer than what it had been before. And people are able to make those decisions for themselves as far as what's real, what's fake. Either way, they're not going to the fucking View. They're not going to ABC. They're not going to NBC or CNN for that matter. We know their numbers have tanked. They're not going to them to try to get the news, right? They may analyze it if you put it out there, but it's less where it used to be, okay, legitimate forms of news come through them. Now it's more, okay, it's more responsive. It's more, CNN put that out. Here's on X why this is bullshit, right? Like why this is nonsense, or this is the idea to the contrary. This getting debunked in real time, and they hate that shit. I think that may have cost them so much. And look, X is one platform for sure, but I think it just fundamentally changed the conversation. or just in general, at least online. And that has something to do with how things are culturally. Let me let this broad finish out.
Yeah.
Well, it would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest offenders is not being able to do one.
This woman has learned nothing.
If we could just censor the people we don't want to hear, if we could just stop them from speaking, that would be great. Of course, Jesus wept. Do they hear? Do they legitimately hear what they're saying? We're allowed to be the fascists. Look at me. We are the fascists now.
That's what they say, and I mean, textbook definition. I would argue that that's what they are. First of all, we can go through the. By the way, if you guys want to watch a video, I did one back in the Gap when I used to do my video essays all the time. Yes, the Nazis were socialists is the name of it. I go through the history of fascism there.
Yeah.
And anybody that it is, let me say this, it is ahistorical. If people say that, for example, that is a quote unquote right wing philosophy, that is ahistorical.
No, it's all left wing.
It all
comes from left. Yeah,
exactly. It all originated from that.
Communism, socialism, Marxism, fucking it's all from the left.
Exactly.
Every time.
Exactly. So it's ahistorical, but I go through that. But just imagine that, right? Like she is explicitly even after the L, explicitly stating that she wants that they should be regulating social media. Learn nothing.
Just be honest. Just say it.
Yeah.
We just want to censor our political opposition.
Yes.
Just say that.
Yeah.
Because Twitter right now, it's not a right wing place. It's just people can speak now. The leftists haven't left Twitter.
Yeah, I mean they can still talk their shit too, right?
Yeah, and they do, do constantly. Yes. And they are there very vocally as well. You know, Mark Hamill might put a tweet out, and maybe a couple of 100,000 people might like it.
Yeah.
Any raving crazy person that says, "Hey, maybe we should just murder all of our political opponents."
That's how they feel.
You know, which was said recently by somebody that was coined as what the tolerant liberal or whatever. Yeah. However they wanted to phrase it. No, so you can say these things on social media. You can cry on social media. You can say, my politics are this and I support that person. You have every right to do so. You can say, look, I'm this gender and that gender, and I identify as a fucking ball of hay, or I don't know. You can say whatever you want, and there's no repercussions for saying that. Okay, there's going to be repercussions if you say, hey, do you know what? That gas chamber is looking real fucking sexy right now. Maybe we should put X people in it. Yeah, maybe that is going to cause some problems. And I think rightfully so.
Yeah, that's going to cause some issues for you.
Yeah, I think maybe that's not a rational voice that needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Okay, but just expressing your regular viewpoint. The problem they have is the right of reply. And they've been very used and very protected to not having the right of reply. And I'm not just talking about the regular person, because the regular person's irrelevant to them. You know, we've seen the systematic censoring and deplatforming of people who they deem problematic. And that's what they want back again.
Yes,
that is what they want back again. And now that Elon has purchased Twitter and turned it into X, he's now. Yeah, it's way better than before. Is there still plenty of bans going on for silly stuff? Yeah. It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect because we're never going to have a perfect system.
Right.
That's one thing that we've got to understand, that there are all these people that seem to think that we can, if we do this, we can make it perfect. We can end racism or end bigotry. You're never going to do that. Right? You're never going to win the war on terror, because terror is an ideology. It's an ideological thing. So you can't beat an ideology, right? There's always going to be racism. It doesn't matter where you are, where you exist, or how tolerant things are. It's always going to exist in the world, depending on it. It doesn't matter what race you are. You know, different countries will discriminate against different races. I can go to different countries and I will be discriminated against. You can go to different countries. You can be discriminated against. that's just the nature of the beast. What we really need is a good middle ground, a good commonality. And that's, I think, where we were going to. That's I think where the world was sort of leaning towards naturally. There was sort of like a commonality where, you know, we believe in these sort of things, or we think these sort of things should come into effect. And the other side said, yeah, well, but we believe this and this and this. And it's like, okay, well, you know, these are things that we can work within the system. But now particularly with the rise of social media, particularly with the rise of the internet, which is a tragic shame because the internet is as wonderful as it is horrible and scary. There's too much of a radical divide that the things that which can bind us together are lost. I mean, we're brought together, you know, you, me, Gary, Jeremy, blah, 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 you know, Robert Meyer Burnett, Chris Gore. Let's bring people like that in. We might have radically different politics,
and we all do, for sure.
And radical different give a shits about these politics as well. But our commonality is what connects us. You know, we're connected through TV, film. We're connected through pop culture, video games, and that's where we get on,
right?
Because we don't try and force our differences. We try and work within our similarities, what connects us. And that's not what's going on. Particularly in politics, which is quite difficult for me to say. Particularly in politics, because they want the divide.
Right.
And so they're never going to fix anything. I reckon I could sit down with any of these women on The View, and we could probably have a fun conversation about something. We could find some commonality to discuss, something to discuss, more than likely. But that's not what they want.
No. Well, they want everybody else, to shut the fuck up. Because, again, as we were talking about earlier, they believe that their position is the position. Yes. It is the righteous position. And anything to the opposition of that is in opposition of what they feel is just. So that's why she's talking about. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit so you guys can hear her explicitly state that she wants to regulate some things. Listen.
Media, because one of the biggest offenders is DC and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
With Elon Musk and the administration.
Whoa. What's a rogue corporation?
Maybe the ABC, the one they work for? I don't know. But no.
What does that mean? Sorry, I mean, I need a quantification of what is a rogue social media.
They are, as it's going to sound fucking crazy, but this is what you're dealing with. They're mad that people are more freely able to speak on a platform. So they consider that to be the negative, that to be the rogue corporation, that Elon is allowing people, in comparison to years prior, he's allowing people to speak without being censored, banned, what have you. Yes, like you said, is that still happening to some degree? Of course. It's not happening to the degree that it was before. And that is what they are mad at. And you just heard this woman.
So she does not agree with the First Amendment.
Well, no, she doesn't agree with the general concept of just people being able, relatively. I always use that term because it is going to be relative depending on who you're speaking to. And yes, there's going to be some limitations as far as what people feel are tolerable. She just doesn't want who the people, I guess she deems as the enemy, to be able to speak in a level playing field with her in terms of their ideas. Now, speaking of, I'm going to share this video because we got some great footage of, and by the way, Mark Hamill update. He is still hiding.
Shout out Mark Hamill.
Shout out Mark Hamill. I don't know if Elton John's hiding.
Yeah.
Tim Sheridan probably, maybe they're hiding as well. Did
you hear about Mark Wade?
We're going to talk about that one.
Okay.
I got that segment pulled up here in a bit. But we got a super cut here that we need to watch.
Is this going to be completely sane and rational?
Yeah, of course. Leftists, when they lose things, they tend to react.
I'm already laughing.
They tend to react.
Dude, I cannot believe that the first thing you brought up is a white woman. I cannot believe. Do you know that they are the most oppressed race on the planet, white women.
Even if it's on other people's behalf.
I know.
But let's watch this supercut of whatever you want to call it.
How did we get here? How did we get here?
Oh, why am I here? Just to suffer.
What
my leg, my arm, the body I've lost.
Going on right now. All I can say is how fucking dare you?
How dare you?
I love her. I love her. Can I take her home, please? I wanna drop things on the floor. I want to spill the coffee on the carpet and then look her in the eye and have her say to me, How dare you?
How dare you?
Oh. Thoughts and prayers.
If you voted.
Wait, right, Eric, stop. Can you stop bringing up the same woman over and over again?
Wait, believe it or not, these are different people.
No, this is the same woman over and over and over again, right? I'm a cracker and I can't tell the difference between any of these, all right?
Believe it or not, they're different people. Not just
whatever you say. Oh, whatever you say.
They're different people.
Sure, whatever.
Anybody other than Kamala, and you live in one of the states that it was, close.
Uh-huh.
Or if you didn't vote.
I voted. I'm British.
It's not gonna happen. Go Kamala.
Oh my God.
America, I love you. How the fuck is this still happening? All I've ever known.
Now she's back again. She's back again.
Now, this is the same woman from earlier. So that you got that.
Is hatred.
I'm done.
What the fuck is that? Do you know what that is?
Legitimately, I actually can't tell. But
if you're playing Dragon Age,
if this was in the Dragon Age creation screen, I think I know what's under the top.
Oh no!
Hey, sweetheart, darling. I mean, sir. What are you done with? What are you done with?
I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
I'm sorry. All my friends who are Trump supporters. You don't understand how scared.
Bro, again, if anybody want to know why I hate politics so much, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing it right here. It makes people fucking crazy.
Yeah. This is not good for mental health.
No.
Living it day in, day out.
Having something like that election impact you like that speaks to so many different problems. And this
Go
is
to the park.
I hate politics.
Buy a dog.
Do something.
Buy a dog, go to the park, play in the leaves. It's autumn. It's awesome.
Fuck.
I saw this Oscars, Princess Diana going through all the leaves, and they were kicking the leaves at it. Oh, it's lovely. It was so wholesome. Do that. It's fun. Kick some leaves at a dog. They love it. They play with it.
Fuck.
I don't think she's had a fuck in a long time, mate. I think that's probably half the problem.
All of the people who voted for him will be like happy and they'll just be celebrating.
No, they're going to be miserable and like you and cry and cope.
My ham is fucking scared.
Oh, petrified. White woman down. 911. White woman in trouble.
Says she's scared for her life.
Absolutely. Why? Is she part of the 41%? I don't know.
Fucking scared. Like,
yeah.
We're scared for our lives. We're scared for our friends. How dare you
again
get into office for another 4 years? Okay. What it means for our country, what it means for us as a people. To know that there is that much ignorance and that much hate in this country. It's so terrifying.
Oh,
it's so terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck are we back in this same situation again? Who the fuck is voting for him? Genuinely.
Like
54% of the country.
That's what it looks like. More than half of the voting population. It looks like. But when you see that reaction, right? When someone's like, "How?" When they're asking that question, that for sure lets me know just how disconnected these guys are from reality. Like because nobody, even if you favored Kamala and you wanted her to win, you can't look at like the landscape or have been paying attention, have been talking with other people, like real, genuine, actual people. Maybe they don't all agree with you, but anybody that's just out there in the real world cannot come to the conclusion that, or just be completely confused as, how the fuck did it happen? You would have had to been in an echo chamber like no other, which that's what it sounds like she was in. Because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
But I mean, is it just me, or am I the only one here that feels like they're actually getting off on this? That this is exactly what they wanted. They wanted intersectionality is based in victimhood, and
Correct.
So this is the best result that they could possibly have, because now they get to complain and be a victim for 4 years. And it's to me it's just rampant narcissism. I mean,
Right.
Who the fuck are you? You're nobody, okay? And I'm a nobody as well. I'm not trying to diminish you in that regard. I'm just a nobody as well. My opinion on the internet might get seen by a couple more people than somebody like this. But ultimately, who gives a fuck? I mean, there might be people in the audience who are watching today. They might have voted for Kamala. They didn't win, but they can probably understand the nature of voting and the obviously your party's different political leanings and whatnot. So they'd be like, I voted, I gave it a go, didn't work, never mind, maybe next time. But things like this should be a point where you can turn around and say, right, so how do we regroup? How do we position ourselves now? What platform do we place ourselves on? How can we win the hearts of the nation? Where did we go wrong?
Right.
But that takes a level of blame and acceptance in that.
Well,
and I don't think we have
Kamala ran a flawless campaign.
Well, when you've got, the UK is fucked. Okay, I'm not trying to have any go at the American system, because the UK system is fucked.
Yeah.
I didn't personally vote in the last election because I just didn't feel there was any worth in it whatsoever. The Conservatives are no longer conservative. That they're pushing half-assed fucking far leftist ideology. So they're just a useless pile of fucking wankers. The Labour Party are absolutely fucking insane. There's no genuine replacement for anything out there, because it's a fucking uniparty. This is when there's no denying that there's just probably as many people that hate Orange Man in his own fucking party as there is on the other fucking side.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, yeah.
So there was people who are looking after their own interests. They're not looking after the interests of either the British public or the American public or wherever they are. So they're only looking after their own interests. If you want to fundamentally look at the system, I think you've got to have a cap on how old you are when you can run for presidential. You can't be over, let's say, 65. You can't be over 65 years old. The two term system, I think, is fine, but I think you have to adopt that same system when it comes to literally career politicians. Because career politicians
like, Congress and stuff.
Congress, it just breeds contempt and it just breeds corruption.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can only should only be able to have 2 terms in Congress, 2 terms in the House, 2 terms at Senate, or even 1. But let's say 2. I think two's fair enough. But after that, no, then you've got to, because that way it keeps things fresh and it keeps things moving, and it doesn't hopefully stagnate and cause these systems that we have now, where we get politicians in the UK, we get prime ministers in the UK. What happens when they leave their office? Oh, they take a seat on the board of some fucking huge power company, electric company, communications company, because it's all in collusion and it's all corrupt.
Yes.
So we gotta look at those systems in terms of government to prevent this career schmoozing that's going on within politics.
Yeah. Shout out. By the way, we just got rated by the Nooner. I just saw that. So big shout out to Gary for that raid. Team Neurotic Team. Much love to y'all. Hope y'all had a great stream. Welcome everybody here. We've been just chatting about some of the fallout, looking at kind of the cultural reaction to the recent election. We'll talk about some of our theories as far as what it's going to look like for some of the stuff that we talk about a lot: gaming, Hollywood, TV, film, all that good stuff. So big shout out to all of y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us here. Let's finish out this meltdown because we've been watching. And if you guys are just joining us, this is a supercut of weirdos that recorded themselves reacting badly for some reason.
Him. Genuinely.
Fuck you. I don't want to hear about how shitty your life gets under his policies.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. But that's a cell phone because you're the ones who are complaining.
That's also true.
So I think that's what we call a cell phone.
Yeah, cell phone.
Okay.
Let it make you uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm in the UK.
So, by the way, and that has been the attitude I think that I've seen from a lot of people, and I think that looking at it that way is obviously why they ended up in the situation that they're in, where they look to people that don't agree with them on some of these issues as with contempt, with hatred, where even you look at some of the roundtable discussions. We just saw the View, but you looked at some of the roundtable discussions and how they discuss. They had a way of talking around actually giving blame to the messaging of be it Kamala, other Democrats, they themselves, as far as like the CNNs of the world. It's everybody else's fault. It's the actual voters' fault. So in this case, in some cases, because black men, for example, voted more than for Republicans than they have in the recent history. Well, it was their fault.
This was the Amish army.
Yeah, it was their fault. It's the not college educated, if you want to call it that, but without the college degree, young white people. It's like they're blaming everybody else.
Well, the biggest demographic that voted was Generation X.
Yeah,
that was the biggest demographic that voted.
Yeah, so
for Trump anyway,
they're just all around angry and spiteful, and I don't think that they've learned from anything. So let's try to make this sort of personal to kind of some of the things that we discussed.
Can I just plug something quickly?
Oh yeah, I think you got something there.
Yeah, just later tonight. Later tonight, just later tonight. Got part 7 of Dragon Age of Elgard later tonight. It'll be come along, have some fries. Hired a McDonald's worker to pass out free
McDonald's worker.
Yeah, free fries for all.
Free fries.
Free fries for all.
Oh man, that's good.
Don't care what party you support. Free fries for everybody. So,
very respectful.
Later tonight.
Very
time to be determined. DPT.
This is good. Those thumbnails have been great. We're going to talk about actually Dragon Age here in a bit, actually. Okay, so I want to start here. Let me see which one of these it is. Where in the world did I put that? I'm not sure where my actual screen went. I'm trying to share this article here. I might end up just sharing it with you real quick because I'm having that issue that we talked about before. So I'm gonna share this. We're gonna pull this up because it has. Well, let me set the scene. Some things were kicked off, obviously, 2015, 2016. There was writers in the midst of in the comic book industry that felt that it was their time to start going after fans, customers of the general comic book industry. One name that pops out a lot, or popped out there, is Mark Wade. If you remember, he was in the center of all of the beginning stages of all of this nonsense. And he had an interesting, I don't know if it was a tweet. It's shown in the article, and we'll read. Interesting, very interesting thing to say. And as this says, that he does not believe in the basic goodness of his fellow Americans. This is coming off the Kamala losing. And he can't write superheroes.
This was a guy who fired a black woman so that he could hire his current girlfriend at the time, correct?
I believe that was him.
Oh, okay, just asking.
Oh, it was on Facebook in which he said this. So let me all right, the good one is there it is. All right, so scroll down, if you don't mind, where we get to the tweets, because he had a lot of things to say in this article.
Is it?
I think, was it John that wrote it? No, I don't know who exactly over at Fandom wrote it. But if you keep going, you'll see that some of the tweets are kind of crazy. Those are some of the initial that popped this thing out. Here we go, right here. So go back up. Keep going. You see the actual tweets. There we go. The next one, the first one right there. Okay. So this is what this says. And he sent this at 1 a.m. Even
that's a good time to tweet.
Even if by some miracle this turns around, I don't believe in the basic goodness of my fellow Americans anymore. And without this, I cannot write superheroes. There's no point.
That makes no sense. Right? Because let's just say it turned around and Kamala won, and it was a fucking Patriots versus Atlanta. It was 28-3 in the third, and then
came back and won.
Just came back and won in overtime, right? Wouldn't that actually give you faith in your fellow Americans by his own logic?
Yeah.
By his own logic, wouldn't that rekindle your faith? But if that did happen, this tweet would have never have.
That's also true.
He was drunk.
He says he can't write superheroes, which to me says that this person has no business being in the business.
Okay.
Because this is what I would argue. I mean, if you look at the history of comics and definitely how these comics were being written during war times, and they were meant to be inspirational, you would think if you saw that or you thought that the country was in a bad shape, wouldn't that inspire you if nothing else?
Yeah, but
that's just me.
As we've seen over the course of the last 10 odd years, nearly, far leftists can't write heroes because the heroes aren't heroic. They're preachy, self-absorbed narcissists who can't be flawed, who are constantly right, who must be persistently validated. They can't write complex superheroes. They despise superheroes. They despise Superman, straight white man. So they have to make Jonathan gay. They hate Batman, straight white man with money. They class that as rich, privileged, powerful. He doesn't give his money to the lazy people who think that communism is sitting on your fucking fat ass, wondering what you're going to draw on with your crayons that day. So Batman gets consistently diminished. Tim Drake, popular Robin. But we want more LGBTQIA plus IA, all the letter. So Tim Drake now sucks dick. Aqualad, now let's just make him black and gay, and he's in a relationship with a fat person of zipper tits, or so So they can't do it because their politics overrides their creativity, and their politics overrides their logic, and their politics drives what they think people should be getting. And the very fact that sales have plummeted in the mainstream, the very fact that they're nowhere near where they were, just highlights that they're losing their audiences, because when you start to write from a divisive political point, regardless of whether or not it's left or the right, when you start to write from a divisive political point, you alienate already approximately half of your audience.
Yes.
And that's so I would argue that we haven't had well-written superheroes for
it's
a
been
decade
a while
in the mainstream, for sure.
It's been a while. Unfortunately, I do appreciate him saying it out loud, because he even says, look, this last sentence is a trip. When you see a decline in the quality of my work, you'll be able to trace it back to this night. So this is the person that is just explicitly stating that they are incapable of doing solid work if the guy that they, or gal in this case, that they support isn't in office or didn't win.
How does that affect anything? How does who's president affect how you write? It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
That's a great question.
It's performative.
But when you are
theater.
ideologically obsessed like they are, they don't know anything else. This is all he knows, right? Unfortunately, I mean, we can trace back Mark Wade. We can talk about the great work that he's done over the years. He's well over the hill there. Okay, he's incapable of doing that. He's telling you that. It's not me like speaking out of phrase here, trying to speculate. He's the one that said if his quality declines, you could trace it back to the guy. And this is what we've been arguing for years, right? I said, and I wasn't going out on a limb with this, and this is why I predict that it's going to happen again. But when 2016 happened, everybody felt in entertainment, for some reason, that it was now their job to take a stance, not just against Trump per se, but the ideology they feel like he also represents, right? So this is why these other phrases, these other social phrases that they throw out there, the misogyny, the transphobia, homophobia, racism, all that stuff, they needed to utilize the work of their profession as a vehicle to more or less make a stance against this shit, right? That's what they were doing. And we saw the quality there dip because they were unable to detach themselves from that. You know, a lot of people read comics to get away from a lot of this nonsense. They were just so obsessed that, okay, well, now what we're going to do here at Marvel, we're going to make Trump MODOK. That's what we're going to do.
But this is what happens when your corporation, your company becomes activist minded.
Yes.
This is what happens when you hire based off
and I don't see how he would how if I'm DC or Marvel or whoever, why would I continue to have this guy work for me? Seriously, you told me or told the world on a social media platform that your work is going to decline because Kamala lost. Okay, why would I continue to employ you or contract you for these gigs? What sense does that make?
Because they know what Mark Wade's like, and they know he's a fucking bell end. So they know this tweet is just fucking cope nonsense crap. Because he's got to signal out there that, oh my God, I'm so fucking upset that alcoholic cocksucker didn't win. And so I gotta, show as a straight white man in the comic book industry that I'm totally an ally, and I'm so mortified. And hey, tell you what, Mark, why don't you put a tweet out saying I am resigning and I am giving up my position for a gay, black, trans, Ugandan illegal immigrant who came to DC Comics with a dream and a packet of crayons, and they are now going to write in my stead because I have given up my position. Why don't you do that? I mean, that would be to me more, at least more authentic in your case to say, well, I can't write heroes anymore, superheroes, because I don't believe in America. Because people have a different opinion to me, and I'm a shallow, fucking retarded bellend. That's what, I wouldn't imagine. Right? Can we use somebody like, sorry to drag you into this, Mark, but can we use another Mark Could you see Mark Millar doing something like this? Based off who was voted into Parliament in the Scottish, in the general election in Scotland.
That would be fucking insane, right?
Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. Let's just say the candidate that Mark supported didn't get in. He might be like, oh bollocks. In his, I don't think he'd say it on social media. At home, he'd be like, oh bollocks. Fucking hell. And all that, and then that would be it. And then you'd notice no difference in his nemesis, in his magic corner, whatever it is, books. You'd notice no difference, no change, because he's not fucking broken like that, and he can write.
Yeah, it's I can say I don't see how you are in charge of the hirings and the firings and read something like this, and the guy saying that he is going to effectively bring down his quality because he can't write. All right. The
good news for him is he's an industry full of fucking window lickers who don't deserve their positions there. So even Mark Wade's poor quality is probably a lot better than a Vida Ayala or a Mags or somebody like that, or a truck stop blowjob. I don't know.
But imagine this, okay? DC, Marvel, we know what type of comics that they are known for. As if you don't mind,
sure,
read that read the first sentence and the more or less the end of the first sentence there, if you don't mind, of what we're looking at. What does that say?
Okay. Even if by some miracle this turns around, I don't believe in the basic goodness of my fellow Americans anymore. And without this, I cannot write superheroes.
Okay, so considering that those last words that you mentioned, what kind of comics do? Yeah, they kind of veer off every now and then. What kind of comics do Marvel and
superhero?
DC? Oh, okay. That's interesting. So this guy works for companies that write predominantly superhero-based comics. And he's saying that he can't do that anymore, right? Okay, so I don't know. Logically, it doesn't make sense for him to continue to write for those. That's just me. I'm just putting two and two together. Am I using? Am I being too
I
rational?
can't do my job anymore.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine? I don't know. Working for, buying some stuff from some like Carpenter or something, and he just explicitly say, I can't do this shit anymore. Like, would you continue to like buy from that person, or
let's say I was the EIC of DC, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, as I am today with all my fucking brashness and Marmite flavoring, if I saw this tweet, I would very happily reply to it saying, "Hi, Mark, is this a resignation? If so, could you put it in writing and place it on my desk?
Yes.
Many thanks."
Yes.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Because if somebody did that in my company, that's how I would do it. Or maybe, I mean, if I was actually the EIC, I would phone him up. I wouldn't do it on social media. I'd do it on social media for, because heel versus babyface. But if it was Terrence von Higginbottom, I would just call him up and say, "Hey, Mark, I saw your tweet. Is that a resignation? Is that a resignation? Because if so, can you place it in writing and put it on my desk by tomorrow morning? Thanks."
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it'd be that simple. Yeah. Weird stuff. But here we are. I don't think that he will continue to. Right. He will continue to do stuff for the mainstream. But again, if you I think Mark's speaking out, but I also think his perspective is going to be representative of pretty much everybody else in comics as well. And that, yeah, you're going to see a decline if you think they can decline any more than they have. You're going to see a decline in their work, and it's because they just can't separate the politics from the work. They just
What's
can't.
that saying? Separate church from state.
Yeah.
Right?
It's impossible for them. That is their God, to be fair. Most definitely. So we'll see what happens with Mark Wade. So moving on, though.
Seriously. Hey, Eric, just between you and me.
Yeah.
Do you think he gives a shit?
No,
I don't think he gives a shit.
No, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to let me see if I can grab this real quick because there is something else that I want to talk about that's along the similar vein. And I think maybe it was last week that we went through a lot of the Dragon Age stuff. I am not sure why this is not popping up for me. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the chat for you, and I have you pull it up again.
Dude, I have never. By the way, it is legitimately heartwarming to see my character's face on so many thumbnails.
It's good, yeah.
Like people I've never even heard of their channels before and shit.
That's pretty sick.
Boom, there it is, right in their thumbnail, the face of Dragon Age.
All right, so we'll talk Dragon Age. I do want to talk about like general game stuff. I want to actually end that with that, but I want to touch on this first. So it's John over at Phantom Post. John Trent, obviously John DeLore's also was over there as well. I think he wrote previous articles. We know this lead writer is a blue-haired weirdo, right?
And he hired the ex Kotaku woman man to write as well.
Yes. So, and we know the state of Dragon Age. Now we're gonna read some of the now in the tweets or in some of these tweets that you're gonna see or posts that you're gonna see.
Yeah,
they're not, and because I believe it's on Blue Sky. These guys are kind of
that's their coat. Yeah, that's their coat place. Yeah,
that's where they go and handle business.
Yeah.
That said, dogs are going crazy.
I know. I can hear.
Somebody had the doorbell, so they're screaming. But somebody just rung the doorbell. Now that's it. He didn't tweet specifically, but he did retweet a lot of different things. That kind of again gives you the perspective of this guy. So let's start scrolling and reading some of these crazy posts that essentially he's co-signing himself. But again, the reason why this is important, again, we're talking culture here. The reason why this is important is like if you are looking at the direction that the companies are going, you got to look to these cats because they're the ones that are writing this material. That's the first one right there. We're going to read. And that's why it's important to highlight. Lawrence O'Donnell talking about how the Electoral College is a massive voter suppression technique. And it
wait. I didn't know. No, 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago is the greatest thing ever.
Well, here's the thing. They appeal to this when they think that it benefits them, but they can't do that this time because Trump looks like he's winning the popular vote as well. So even if you went like a straight democracy, right, which is all gay and retarded anyway, even if you did it that way, he still won. So it doesn't matter. All this electoral college shit, which again, they just basically want to talk about enslaving people. What they want is for the entire country to be beholden by what New York City and these mega like metroplexes that are exclusively leftist. They want us to be ruled by them. That's why they hate the electoral college. But he says, and it enrages me that we're still being controlled by white fucking enslavers centuries later. All white people refuse to even murmur the words white supremacists. And of course, a white guy.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What the fuck am I meant to do with the pigmentation of my skin?
You can't control that. I mean, you could try the Michael Jackson, Sammy Sosa thing.
I think if I was to increase the levels of melanin, I think I would get into a bit of trouble.
For it would be called blackface if you did that.
Yes.
But Yeah, there's not, on a serious note, there's not much you can do about that.
No.
You are what you are. I talk about it all the time. This is why I don't sit up here and bragging about it being proud and all this stuff, because I didn't control this, right? I just came out.
Do you know how hard it is to be white, Eric? You know,
it's like you got to work for.
You just don't. You haven't got a clue how the other half lives, mate. You ain't got a fucking
to be white. Let them tell it. All right, go to the next one, because it does get spicier. He was on a tirade.
Okay.
He was on a tirade. One more thing: the Harris campaign has been warning about this for days, but it bears saying again. Trump will probably try to declare victory tonight, and he did. Do not fall for it.
That's because he got over 277 votes. You know.
That sounds like they are denying the election results. I thought you couldn't do that.
No, you're not allowed to do that. That gets you banned.
Yes.
On social media.
You can't question. What do you mean denounce it loudly? You can't do that. I was told that's inciting an insurrection.
Dude, the only insurrection these people have seen is fucking Star Trek insurrection. That's the closest they've ever come to a fucking insurrection in their lives.
Oh man. All right, that was from Celeste, also at Blue Sky, because I can't apparently that's just a left. We have another one post. He says -2% for being black, -2% for being a woman. That's all it took to make it this close. So they are blaming Cackling Kamala lost on being black, which she's not, and a woman, which I guess she's that. So she has that at least going for her. But I refute the black one. She says, or he, them, Shem says, and the fact that the people in charge were more scared of ruining America's image in their heads than they were allowing insurrectionists and traitors to roam free.
Rent free. It's just rent free.
Oh man, that type of cope is real. All right, let's move to the next one that he retweets. Again, this is all being co-signed by one of the lead writers for Dragon Age, which we're going to talk about here in a bit. As whoever this is at Blue Sky pointed out, Harris ran a smart campaign. These guys are out of their mind. Her campaign was ass. Okay. She's largely disconnected from reality, and the campaign that she ran, I mean, you talked about it from that outside perspective. It made her come across as not genuine of a person that someone in her position could be.
Particularly when you're bringing a new accent almost every place that you go.
Yeah.
You know, new accent, fake phone calls, fake polling, fake door knocking, fake speeches, fake fucking edited interview. Everything just screamed fake.
Yes.
And outside looking in, people aren't stupid. People, I know they like to think they are. I know they like to talk. Like I said earlier, it's about talking down. They think they're so superior that they believe they have the right to talk down to people. They think they're better than them. They think they are their betters. And so they think because they are talking down and from their fucking ivory towers, the little people, the little people need to listen to what they have to say. No, the so-called little people see how fake and disingenuous you are. And then they say, do I want a fake, disingenuous person running my country? That's the way I see it.
Yeah. And says Trump ran a disastrous campaign and is in clear decline. This person is in another dimension.
If he's in a clear decline, then never mind. It's like there's a point where you just can't debate retarded.
Yeah, it's just
you just gotta go. Nah, let's just I'll leave it there for all to see.
This was a clear choice. No matter who wins, half of the voters either chose bigotry and authoritarianism. Do they not know what that term means? Or had
he already won. You don't have to sell him further.
and that's hard to take, says Radley Balco. We have another election denier here. with Elizabeth says, "Do not obey in advance." I really like this take here, and this is coming from a Dr. Sarah, a doctor of what? Who knows? Says, if you all are giving up now before every last vote is tallied, this is Cope. It was over. It was over. When the race has not been called, as some people are still in line, then who, boy, as someone who works in authoritarian countries, I have bad news for you. How you'll do over the next 4 years. So again,
probably just fine.
I think they'll be just fine. And this, I said earlier, guys don't like politics for this reason because it makes people crazy. All right.
Rule 1: do not obey in advance.
Do not obey in advance. So again, I was told that you're inciting an insurrection when you do stuff like that, but apparently it's okay for them. And we saw that, right? 2016, Russia collusion, all this stuff. Then 2020 happened, and then anybody that said that maybe there was some shenanigans were going on that they should have not have done that, and there was a threat to democracy. And now we're moving here again, and now they're saying, well, there's more than shenanigans. So they get to call shenanigans. Nobody else can call shenanigans. But Dragon Age, I've had a chance to play a little bit of it. Obviously, you have played several hours of it. Before I let, because I know you have a lot to say, and I've even thought about doing like maybe a cyberpunk-esque formal review, like I did on this, because I'm going to give you my initial thoughts, and we'll let the conversation kind of free flow.
Sure.
Okay? One first talk gameplay, right? Me personally, and I've made this point before, I think that they made a mistake, and I think the mistake has been made by studio after studio. I think the only option, as in there shouldn't have been an option, they should have went the Elden Ring approach, in the difficulty should have been the nightmare setting. I've played it on their normal, and I played it on their nightmare, night and day.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that the gameplay is mundane as fuck.
Yep.
If you play it on the lower levels. It's not dynamic at all. And I think they made the same mistake in trying to cater to all of these different people, focusing a little too much on the story, right? To where they made it that the most people that play this game are going to play it on the normal and below modes, and you could sleep through it. And if you judge it based on that, it is some of the most boring, mundane of an experience in terms of its gameplay. What I hate about it, and I get the history of Dragon Age, I played a lot of Dragon Age over the years. The companions are fucking that system is fucking stupid. I've hated it before. I hate it now. There's no they don't even have fucking health bars. They're just really there just to be there, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like anything's on the line when you're going out there on the battlefield and you're instructed them to go fight this person or go fight that person or use this ability or use that ability, right? None of it really feels like it again, it can create some dynamic gameplay if you are playing on harder difficulties, because you will end up dying in the event that you don't play the game properly per se. But I would have loved for there to be a setup to where, okay, yeah, I throw somebody out there and they get fucking killed. Okay, now it's only two of us there, and we got to try to play it that way. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know if y'all played Dragon Dogma 2. It's a way better version of whatever the fuck they put out from a gameplay perspective. It's like essentially the same thing, set in the same setting. Dragon's Dogma, if you're talking just strictly on gameplay, Dragon Dogma 2 is a much better option if you want that itch to be satisfied.
Yeah.
In that particular genre than what a Dragon Age, the Veilguard is, because that companion system is shit, top to bottom. So the gameplay stuff, that's my perspective. I want to know, before we start moving into some of the elephant in the room and the dialogue and stuff, I want to know, with you playing it, what has been kind of your experience, initial reviews, as far as just the general gameplay is concerned.
General consensus so far, and I could, I've got a little bit hot under the collar during my streams. This is the funny thing. It's so weird that the Starfield rant went viral because I've done rants like that all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the Starfield one hit the zeitgeist because I guess people were seeing it more and more, and it just hit the thing. I've had bigger rants about this game than I have Starfield because I've played more of this game than I have Starfield. I put 27
way
hours.
more, even well, some of the goofy shit is just.
I think this fundamentally as a game is ridiculous. It's pathetic. Fundamentally, I think virtually every system of this game is broken. You talk about the combat. I've actually had to put the combat down. Is it because the game's too hard and too difficult? No. It's because I got sick and fucking tired of fighting the same boss with just increased damage, increased health, and just having a sponge.
That's fair.
And it just, so the fighting became so monotonous and boring because you've just got a limited ability set. They've got a limited ability set. And it's just increased damage, increased health pool. So it becomes a war of attrition. Okay. As opposed to the higher level of the difficulty, adding different mechanics for you to counter.
Nobody does that anymore. As far as the games that they make, it's just that's what it usually is. It's gonna be bullet sponges. It's gonna be that type of gameplay. Which again, yes, making it harder is going to make it a little more dynamic for the player because they're gonna have to. I'm gonna get punished a little more. But as far as like the actual gameplay, there's not gonna be much differentiation between it, which is why I am of the belief that they need to just stop doing that shit. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with me because I know games have become more normie friendly now, and now you have people that aren't necessarily gamers wanting to play and experience these games for the story aspect. But I'm a gameplay first kind of guy, and I think they're catering far more to, and this is just the latest example of it, the lowest common denominator, and it's just making for a very mundane experience for gameplay. That's just me. I think they need to stop with this range of difficulty bullshit.
Yeah, I completely get that. I just got, after putting so many hours in so far, because I want it all. I want every bit of context for this game. And it just got monotonous. It just got so monotonous. I was brain cells were dying left, right, and center, and I'm taking enough haymakers with the story. So I think fundamentally, though, the game fails on every single solitary level. The gameplay is monotonous and dull. The level design is weak. Do some of the levels look nice, environmentally wise? Yes, I think they environmentally wise look nice. Do the character models look nice? No, they look like dog shit. Is the acting any good? For the most part, it's appalling. Is the dialogue any good? It's pathetic beyond belief. I feel like I'm sat in a coffee shop in downtown LA or Seattle listening to a couple of fucking millennial, can't say that word on your channel. That's what the dialogue sounds like. It doesn't feel like a fantasy setting. It doesn't feel like you've created a world or a universe that feels like you want to get involved in it. And the story is non-existent. The story is there's two gods who are locked in a prison. There is Solus who wants to lock them in a stronger prisoner,
and then gets caught.
So he has to do a ritual to put them in a bigger prisoner,
and
but in trying to do that and having the ritual interrupted, Solus is the one who got placed in a prison and they got released. It's nonsensical garbage. And what has happened as regards to the elven gods in the game so far? Nothing. Virtually nothing. We've come across them a couple of times. It's literally going around recruiting the worst fucking companions in the history of a video game.
Yeah, like I said, the companion system is bad, guys.
Awful.
It is a terrible. And again, I'm talking strictly. I could go on about dialogue and stuff, but even if I'm focusing strictly just how the game plays and how like the companion system it's just not good. That's just as worded it perfectly. You're essentially going around just going through the story and recruiting these different companions to work with or whatever. And sure, you can grab it. There are going to be some missions that obviously are companion specific, but you're picking them before you and most of the levels you're picking them right as far as who you want to who you want to join, and none of them really are like badass. And again, just because it's not like there's anything on the line. I will say this: I know that it was divisive. It was far more divisive than the first one. I think really that's only because more people played Dragon's Dogma 2 than they played the first one.
No, well, clearly they did by the amount of players count.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's why it's a little more divisive there. But Dragon's Dogma 2's companion system, though not perfect, is just a night and day option, right? Where again, I'm getting different. I can get different companions. Hell, you could make your own companion, and I could recruit them put them in my party, right? As is created, like Sheep created, for example, a version of Gary, right? A wizard or whatever, and I could get him and you may have him join my party. It was really cool, and it was whatever level and stuff that you created him, I could put him there, and it was a really just all around solid sort of system. And they could die, right? They could on the battlefield, they could which makes things feel like they're far more on the line. Whereas to imagine, again, I get it, even if they've done it in the past or games have done it in the past, you have a party and your party these guys don't have health bars.
No. They can't get knocked down in a fight.
They can't get knocked down. And even then, it's like, hey, I'll tell them how the gameplay is so fucked. I can tell them to go attack somebody, and still all of the fucking enemies on the battlefield are all going to be facing me, right? Either way, it's like they're not even there.
Yeah,
right?
This is one of the nonsensical. This is one of the things which drive me insane in the combat, right? I've seen Vara Dark and I've seen Mauler who are playing range classes, and they seem to be lolling through the combat.
Yeah,
like, absolutely lolling. As a melee, my combat is fucked because if you lock onto a target and you're getting close, you hit it once, maybe hit it twice, it just teleports away. Mm-hmm. When it teleports away, it loses the lock on them. And then the game just decides where the fuck it wants to lock you to. Or you look at an enemy to lock onto it, and then you click to lock to go into, and you're literally just facing it, and it'll lock like 3 enemies behind, and you'll go right past them and go into that. You knock them on the ground, takedown. It's one of the things in the game. You can knock things down on the ground. You knock them down on the ground, more often than not, as soon as they hit the ground, whether it's because it glitches under and back up quick,
they're gonna get back up
again.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're dead or not. So you can't then keep momentum on hitting them down and when they're down, because the game will decide. You can have multiple enemies around you and the lock system will just go fucking mental. Yeah. It'll just be like, where are we fucking going? And spaz around all over the fucking place. And it's got no idea where. And so as a melee, I feel like I am fighting the fighting system. As opposed to actually having really, getting it like The Witcher 3, you're dancing in the fights, you're dodging, you're weaving, you're hitting, you're dodging, you're bang, bang, bang. It's so I class it as a dance. Dragon's Dogma 2. So the combat system's a lot of fun.
I love that fucking game combat system. I love how the bigger enemies feel like bigger enemies.
Yes, you can climb up on, getting up on them,
motherfucker's tail off. I fucking love that about Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
That they did that in the first one, right? This is what I've talked about with that system. This system, like I said, yeah, the companions are forced out there on you, right? I don't even think you have the option. I've never tried. I don't think you have the option to just. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you can. You can't even like just technically go solo if you wanted to. Could you? Like on? Does it not force you to select?
No, I think you have to pick a party.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think you have to pick 2 of them. I could be wrong. So even if I wanted to say, let me go in there, bitch, solo, you can't do it. It's just all around bad. It would be a lot. Just I think so much would change about it, and I don't know whose bright idea that was for this type of game.
Apparently, you can solo. You can solo.
Okay,
Marcos says you can.
Okay, shout out Marcos. But I think that with the companion system, it would be so much more of a dynamic system if even just they added the fact that they could fucking die.
But you said yourself, you can set your companions to attack a target, but The enemy still's like,
That's
I'm
still
just going to
gonna
focus you, and that's what it does half the time. And then, of course, like most games, this is one thing I'm not criticizing because this happens in most games. The attacks are telegraphed in as much as the AoE could be telegraphed, or the range could be telegraphed with an arrow showing that you're being targeted, so you know you're being targeted. Okay, so you can see when moves are being telegraphed to come in. Instead of allowing you as the player to understand this, because it's fucking blatantly obvious, as soon as you get targeted, or if you have an AoE around you, your companions can't shut up. Range incoming, he's there on your left. AoE incoming, and it drives me mad.
That's a whole nother thing. I'm
mad.
glad you brought that up from the gameplay. Again, we've been spending the most of this this part of the stream talking about the gameplay, which again, that's what I got so many fucking problems with. Bro, this game tries to baby you, and it's so fucking annoying.
Diapers and fucking baby oil and
so
powder.
Bad. It's so bad. Hey, I mean, and it just takes you out of it. And that was really going to be the highlight of my review, was going to be talking about how this game brags so much about like they lead with, if you go to their website right now, I believe that's one of the terms that they use, immersive, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is got to be one of the least immersive RPGs that I played, because of instances like that where I can go, okay, I got this thing that I need to figure out, but I have the companion like literally talking me through the shit, saying that, hey, why don't you go do that and do this? And I'm like, okay, probably would have meant more if I could just figure the shit out myself instead of you just
not talking
me through it. Right. And it just completely takes you, it completely takes you out. And that's what the dialogue really in general does, is that it just takes you out. It just completely takes you out of it. It's just so bad. But the gameplay itself is just, I really do believe that Dragon Age suffers from the problem that I've talked about a countless amount of times, and that is games focusing far too much on appealing to the lowest common denominator. They clearly were story. And I'm not saying that I'm an anti-story guy. Me personally, I play a game for its gameplay, and I want the story to be able to, kind of piggyback off of that, because I don't give a shit if you have a great story, right? If I'm playing a game, right? If I wanted to watch a movie, I just go watch a fucking movie, right?
Sure.
But if I'm playing a game, it's gameplay above all else, and I want the story to be supportive of it for sure, and I would like to get a decent experience out of that, but it's still going to be gameplay first. For me, the feeling that I get, and I don't want to speak for you and if you can disagree with me, you can, but the feeling that I get is that they had that story that they wanted to tell, including all the weird dialogue stuff, which I guess we can kind of segue into. And that was placed above every single aspect of the game.
I mean, I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's a fucking story. No, and I'm not even, dude, I am not even fucking kidding. There isn't a story. What I explained earlier, that's where we are. And we haven't moved on anywhere in 30 plus hours, however many I've put in, 30, 40 hours so far. I haven't, for one, you want to talk about good story, you look at The Witcher 3, right?
Oh, by the way, Marcos, we were just before you, he was mentioning that when he mentioned the creating a pond. No, Marcos, we were talking, we know that I know you can go solo in Dragon's Dogma. We were talking about going solo in.
Oh, yeah, with Veilguard.
With Veilguard. I don't know if you can do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you can in Veilguard.
But yeah, go ahead, ask.
So I don't think there's actually a story there. So I'm not even immersed in the story because it's non-existent to me. I'm fucking Samuel L. Jackson recruiting people for the gay Vengers, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm fucking doing. All I hear is fucking current fucking Californian dialogue in my head.
That takes you out of the game.
That takes me out the game. I try and do any exploration. The game says no. Get back on the rails. Get back on the rails. Don't you fucking dare
great
explore.
Gameplay point. I mean, even at the beginning, I saw some of these side missions and stuff that I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do those because that's how I like to operate. Well, they say no, you can't do that. You need to advance the story before you can come back. And I'm like, why even put this as a fucking option? Then why are you showing me this in the journal if I have to advance the story before I can even go actually explore the side of the fucking map? And it was so stupid.
Well, it's even worse because you can get quests or even complete a quest and it will say, yeah, you can't hand it in because you haven't opened up that area. Or you can't do this quest which you've got because you haven't opened up that area.
Yeah.
And then you can be in an area and get to a dome, a doorway or something, and it'll literally just have a fucking screen and it'll have in writing currently unavailable or currently inaccessible. Something
Why
like
is
that.
it in my journal then?
And it's just like, so what, you know, there's nothing which says immersion like having a big fucking text saying currently, you know, it's like, fuck off.
Need to advance the whatever they say about the travels or whatever is how they word it.
More fucking barista talk from these fucking bell ends. You know, it's so it just does my head in. There hasn't been at one single point. Like I fire up The Witcher 3, I fire up The Witcher 2, Dragon's Dogma, you know, Dragon Age Origins. You know, I fire up those RPGs, and there's many others. I'm just using those as examples. Let's use a BioWare. Let's say Mass Effect as well. You know, I feel like I can fall into that world. Yeah, I can fall into that world. I can fall into that universe. I can position myself there and believe what's going on and suspension of disbelief and all that. I have not once felt in any way, shape, or form that I'm on this planet. It's like a terrible small maps which loop around on themselves that really don't lend itself to any sort of exploration whatsoever. And it doesn't feel like this is a lived-in place.
Yeah, that's a good way to
like
put it.
People belong there. I have counted so far that we have black elves, we have Asian elves with Asian accent, we have Scottish elves, we've got German elves, we've got white elves, and we've got brown elves. And I'm just like, how? Right, number one, let's just start off with accents. How do these same races of elves have different fucking accents?
That's a good point.
Why is there an Asian elf with an Asian fucking accent next to a fucking black elf next to a fucking German elf with a German accent? Doesn't make a fucking lick of sense.
That's a great point. It takes you out, man. Like
completely out.
That's a good point. It takes you completely out of the.
Then you have to go. Why is there an Asian elf? Why is there an Asian elf? An Asian person is a planet Earth race, right? Now, you say, yeah, but there's white people and black people. They're planet Earth races. No, you don't understand. Races are used to show the demographic of a fucking area. Right? If I was to go over to Japan now, to Korea now, to China now, guess what I'm going to mostly fucking see?
Yeah.
Asian fucking people. I go to Eastern Europe. I go to fucking most parts of the UK. What are you gonna predominantly see? White fucking people, because Europe is white predominant. What if I go to the heart of fucking Africa? What am I gonna fucking mostly see? Black people. No. You know, this is how if I go to the Middle East, to India, to Pakistan, to Saudi Arabia, what am I mostly gonna see? Brown people. Yeah. That's how the demographics of places work. So when you're trying to do a fantasy fucking game and it's a multicultural fucking wank job, you know, because the developers are, oh my god, we're so like progressive and stunning and oh my godsies, then it doesn't work. It pulls you out of the immersion. I can't feel I can take the elves seriously because oh my god, we're gonna have to say this. For one of a better phrase, you have to ask yourself, what is an elf? What is an elf? Because now an elf is just somebody through the multicultural background that's got pointy ears.
Pointy ears, that's essentially all in their world for sure.
Germany, exactly. So your races don't feel right. Yeah. Go to any city. It's just a multicultural fucking city.
All the ones that you go to, they're less like, even if you go to see the Antivan Crows,
Yeah.
There's just like different versions of them. Like one has a more English accent, one sounds Latina, or whatever, and whatnot. And it's like, I don't know why y'all talk different. It's like, you're supposed to be his grandmother. Why is his accent so much different from fucking yours? That doesn't make sense.
No,
At all. But it's bad. Look. The reason why I do think it's right to ding them for it as a game is because if I go to Dragon's Dogma, not Dragon's Dogma, excuse me, I don't know we're talking about that. Dragon Age, and I go to Dragon Age Veilguard's website on EA.
Mm-hmm.
These are the first words that you see. Unite the Veilguard and defy the gods in an immersive single player RPG. So that's what you wanted to lead with. That's what you determined your game was. And there's so many areas of the game that take you out of it, from the gameplay experience and how mundane that it is, to the companion system and how fucked that it is, to the way that they talk, and for sure what they say. Because this is set in this sort of fantasy, dark fantasy setting, if you will, and it doesn't feel like that at all. These people talk like it's 2024.
Yes.
LA.
Yeah.
Coffee shop.
Yeah. Barista talk.
That's how they talk. That's how the dialogue.
West Coast progressive talk.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So it just takes you completely out of it. Going on about fucking again, and that's the layup part, because we just listed all of the gameplay issues, but obviously the layup and what everybody's talking about is that, you know, it's like I go to a certain level, I go play this aspect of the story, and then there's this part where I got to get a lecture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the lecture is had somewhere in the dialogue. We laughed a lot about, hey, I'm gonna pull a barf, and I'm gonna fucking even though she only did 5, she's gonna do 10 push-ups because she
is that Isabella just actually just a minute thing. But meant 10, there's 5.
Yeah. So Jess up and does those push-ups, pulling a barf. And then, like I say, even with those dialogue options that you get, right, they're taking you out of the game. One of the first things that you experience is you see some fucking mirror when you go in the when you go finally get your own setup on that whatever spot. And it's like one of the options, explore gender identity or some shit. And I'm like, again, this is supposed to be an immersive game. It's not about all you guys talking about, here we go bitching about pronouns. I am playing some fucking dark fantasy fucking game, right? Where why in the fuck is that why? Like, so why do I need to be exploring my gender identity? What the fuck does that have to do with shit? Why is that? Why am I seeing that as an option? We move forward.
Well, we know the answer, of course, but you know,
that's a rhetorical question of why I'm seeing that as an option. And some of the dialogue options we've all laughed about, the oof shit selection, right, which is fucking hilarious. I did post about that as well. It's just almost every other dialogue option that you get, it just takes you out. And
but the worst thing is the dialogue options don't even marry with what they say.
That's also true.
So if you say, let's take the oof as an example. Your choice is to say oof, right? But if you select oof, then they say something completely different. Your character says something completely fucking different. So you don't actually know what you're saying, because the options more often than not don't actually reflect with what's being presented to you.
That's a good point. Like, it doesn't seem like, I think there's a big disconnect in between like what that character ends up saying. They probably would have been a much better option if they went with like I get it, they have the little pictures there where it's like, hey, if you want to act more like a warrior, or you want to act more teary-eyed, or you want to act like, I get that they have that, but they're not really reflective of the general, what they say as far as the wording there is not really indicative of what you are about to say. to them, because you could say something, you can be like, oh, I just wanted to have this approach, and then they say something completely different, or the attitude or the way that they approached it was completely different. But either way, you don't get a sense, and I'm not saying like I've tried to play this. I have played again just because I wanted to test the gameplay. I did play it on different difficulties, but it does get a sense for what I'm saying and seeing other people play it. Them even selecting different options is not giving them different gameplay. Like segue.
It's just sponge, just more sponge.
Yeah, than like what I'm getting. So it's like none of those choices really fucking matter anyway. So
no,
it is.
You can't be you can't be aggressive towards your companions. You can't disagree with your companions. You can't berate them. You can't pit one against the other, because they'll just affirm each other every time they're together. If they've got contrasting ideologies, they'll affirm each other. Tash, everyone has deferred to Tash in every single instance, because Tash, of course, is the self-insert for the fucking trans creator, so they can do no fucking wrong. Which makes Tash a hilarious character, because they're so fucking bad, because they're a fucking retard and they're fucking annoying, and you just want to fucking throw them off a cliff. But the game won't let you do any of that, because they are, oh my god, stunning and brave. Let's sit down and fucking talk about my fucking gender ideology, because it's current fucking day Western gaming company, and they will burn millions, hundreds of millions of dollars because they hire the wrong people, because everything is so ideologically minded nowadays that you're scared to hire on merit. It's your own fucking fault, and it's of your own doing, and you can burn the fuck down. And if BioWare go out of business because of this fucking game, good. If they've got enough in the reserves to come out with one final hurrah with Mass Effect 5, good. Because do you know what? Mass Effect 5's fucked. So I think the closure of BioWare is an absolute inevitability at this point in time, because they are desperate to have a hit. Mass Effect can be the only thing that they have left. They're desperate that people have forgotten about the utter disaster that was Andromeda. But the point is, they're going to make the same mistake over and over again, because ideologically, they can't get out of the fucking snake pit that they're in. And so it will be a failure.
You put that perfectly. It's bad for many different reasons, right? Like I could even not mention the dialogue being as gay as it is, and it's still shit. Like, and it's not like, and you guys know how I review things. I even gave Cyber, as frustrating as that fucking game made me, I gave Cyberpunk as about a fair fucking review as anybody could possibly have given it. But even if you isolate all of that gay ass dialogue, it is still dog shit.
Yes, it's fundamentally a broken game.
Yes,
it fails as an RPG. It fails as an immersion. It fails in story. It fails in combat. It fails in animation. It fails in the characters. The only fun thing was the character creation screen, because you could make the most absurd things ever, and then when you've made them, you have people go, "You're transphobic." Why? I have done what the game has allowed me to do. I just used the tools
that were available to me, man.
So don't be coming at me.
That's not my fault. That's not on me. But yeah, it's bad, bros. And I cannot recommend it for anybody.
No.
It's not an RPG in the sense that you can do what you want. And look, I do think that I would hope, with as much money as is being put into gaming, that I have my thoughts about Baldur's Gate 3. Mm-hmm. That said, I can at least recognize that it's an RPG, and it does give you a lot of freedom to just be the person, the character that you want to be. As much as I don't like it, and I'm not necessarily a fan of that style, definitely that version of Baldur's Gate with the turn-based stuff. It's not the most appealing to me, but I could recognize that. And I would think that that's where, because all the money that's going in, that would be, okay, that's where we're moving to the next gen experience of the RPG. It's giving the game player freedom. It's an RPG, right? It's giving the game player play a free, like I should be playing an RPG and you should be playing an RPG, and we should just, in terms of how we play the game, we should be building completely different characters, having completely different experiences because of that. And Dragon Age, you're going to get the same experience no matter who you create for the most part, and how that story is going to be told. Everything is really, really on the rails. You don't have much room to deviate. And
the game won't allow you to.
Yeah, it simply won't allow you to deviate, and that's what makes it suck. So I hope it was worth it, because I don't know if you've seen any numbers coming out recently. I know with Steam, I know there's been some coping. They're trying to spin it as a positive, and where it peaked. But when you look at that comparative to other games, they're not doing a good job.
There's going to be huge cope around the numbers, regardless of what they are. This is how you quantify whether a game is successful. Did it make profit? That's how you quantify the success of a game. Because if you make a movie that's 500 million and you make 500 million back, then 500 million is a lot of money. But you would have actually lost money, because it cost 500 million to make. Then you had to market it. Then you only get 50% of the box office, 40% abroad, and 25% in China. So actually, that 500 million that it cost you is you need to make a return of nearly $1 billion. To get your money back. Well, it's actually over $1 billion to get your money back. So the game is a massive failure. But if you just say it made 500 million, that could just. It's like when Jason Schreier, the fucking snake, just a piece of shit human being, he was talking about, look at this chuds. It's the #1 bought game on Steam. Right. Against what? What does that mean? Quantify
Compared
that.
to what? Yes.
Yeah. Is it because it's the fucking only game out that week? Because most people have already bought COD the week before. Because, so what does that actually quantify as? Well, you can't do that. So we don't know exactly how much this game cost. I think it's fair to assume absolutely minimum of 150 million, probably in excess of. This is a game 8 years in development that's gone through multiple iterations because it's been in development hell. It was meant to be the Dreadwolf. It was then meant to be an online game. Then it turned itself into the Veilguard. So it's had multiple different. So the amount of money which has been pumped and lost into this already, we'll probably never know. But even if we assume it costs 150 odd million, that means what? You've got to sell 4-5 million copies to break even.
Right.
Is this game going to sell 4 million copies? 5 million copies? I don't think so.
I just doubt
and this is at full fucking whack, not on discount. Full fucking whack.
I don't think so. I don't think. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
The cope around the amount of people playing, and again, look, there's 57,000 people playing right now. Right? Okay. So what does that mean to you? Well, it's 57,000 people. That's a lot of people.
That doesn't tell the story.
Okay. Yeah, 57,000 people. If we had 57,000 people watching the stream, we'd be like, fucking hell.
Oh, yeah. That
is insane.
That is awesome.
But as a peak of 89,000, do you know what? That's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible, because Dragon Age by far has a bigger franchise name than Dragon's Dogma. And Dragon's Dogma 2 peaked at 228,000. So you have a peak of 89 for Dragon Age and a peak of 228,000 for Dragon's Dogma. Baldur's Gate 3 peaked at 875,000.
That's fucking crazy.
And that was out on fucking early access for years.
Wasn't it technically crowdfunded like the original wasn't that Baldur's? I might be remembering wrong, but I'm almost positive Baldur's Gate 3 had some chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know that I think Tencent
it came out years ago for pre-purchase. There was only X amount of the game ready for you to play.
Yeah.
So the people who purchased that could play X amount at that time was adding more funds to the game's coffers to create further and further until they got themselves a complete product, which then came out and dominated. And the huge difference between the gender politics of Baldur's Gate 3 versus them in Veilguard is in Baldur's Gate 3, you have to push the issue. The game doesn't push the issue. You push the issue. So if you want to be a woman with a schlong and you want to go romance a same-sex, whatever that means, I don't fucking know. Character, that's you. That's what you're doing. That's your decision-making process. The game ain't doing it for you.
Right.
So you can have all your little fun with the creation and whatnot, but you are the one who's instigating this. Nobody's sitting down in Baldur's Gate 3 and talking about the fucking pronouns or their fucking they, thems, or I'm non-binary, or I'm, this kind of stuff. No, it's letting you do your choices and getting on with that sort of business.
Right.
So that's a fundamental difference in that regard.
That's what I'm saying. It basically is even from, again, how it plays. There's a much, if you need that itch to be satisfied, for sure, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a way better option than if you haven't played fucking that. That's a way better version of this, because I don't know what the fuck they were putting out with Dragon Age, the Veilguard. That was I'm playing it and I'm like, I think my mistake is that I tried too hard to like make sense of stupid like actions, right? So as I'm playing it and I'm seeing fundamentally the gameplay not make any fucking sense, I'm sitting here trying to think myself through it, think my way through it, and I'm like, what was the direction there? Why with this specific game are you having the companions basically not have health bars? Like, I would love, just for that decision, for this type of game, I would love to know why make it to where these guys can't even get fucking killed on the battlefield. So I can just send them to do whatever the fuck. Hey, go attack this, do this combo move, blow some shit up every fucking 30 seconds. But like, there's no consequence, right? I'm basically using you as a shield, if nothing else, so that, as I'm getting attacked by the enemies, because they're not going to face you, they're going to face me, right? To like more or less prevent that. But I don't feel like anything's on the line. Whereas to like when I'm playing a Dragon's Dogma and I go to an area where I know it's going to be some solid enemies, I'm already considering like, yeah, how I'm playing this, they might die right during this deal on the battlefield. They could lose their health. It's not even a thing. Who's bright-eyed? Why is 2020 fucking 4 current year, and your companions can't die? What's the point? I can't make sense of that decision.
The systems of the game are fundamentally broken. There's no immersion. The combat system's broken. The exploration system's broken. The story's broken. The dialogue's broken. The characters are broken. As I said, it fails on every single fucking level as an RPG. And we don't even have to touch the ideological shit. It's already done.
That's what I'm saying. We don't.
It's already cooked.
If you remove that shit, it's still fucked.
Yes.
It's still not good for what it attempts to be. It just doesn't make sense, and I don't know. I just don't understand.
Never mind the puzzles. The puzzles that are made for absolute window. They aren't puzzles.
Your companion will talk you through the shit, bro.
Not that it's even difficult. Not that you even can't work it out.
That's what I'm saying. It takes you out. Like, I'm like, okay, well, let me try to figure this out. And it's like, oh, well, we could go move that over there. And like, wait a minute, why are you telling me that? Before you
can even think about what to do.
Yeah, it's not like I've been on this side for 30 fucking minutes, right? And I'm looking for a bailout. Like, why are you talking me through this? This is a puzzle.
I've got to the point in the game, right, where I have to tell myself off, right? Because I'll come across a puzzle and I'll be like, okay, I'll think like an RPG, an actual RPG. So this is the puzzle. So the thing's gonna be, it's gonna have a bit of a twist on it. The blatantly obvious, And the next has to just go, no. As. Stop overthinking it. It's Dragon Age. It's right next to you. Right. Every time.
Move that over there. Point it to that thing, and then bam, the door's open. You're fine.
Yeah. So I actually have to. I've told myself off a couple of times for actually trying to turn the puzzle into a puzzle, but the puzzle doesn't exist.
It's too obvious to me.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no.
And if it wasn't obvious to you, it'll be obvious after they fucking tell you exactly your companion.
Not that you've actually needed that at any point.
Put that thing over there. We could then see what would happen if you did that. I'm like, I should be able to kill my fucking companion for doing that dumb shit. Like why are you walking me through this? What the fuck is this? So to Az's point, it fails on every level. The ideological shit just makes it even more unbearable. Because that, make no mistake, it's bad. But I could also give it a bad review, and I could say nothing about that. Nothing about it. For what it tries to do, being immersive, it especially fails there. It's like, fuck off, man. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get to some of these super chats. Appreciate y'all joining us. It's been a massive show, man. So shout out to all of y'all that have been hanging out with us. We got MP13 becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate that. Josh Kelsey is always coming through. Drops 20, says nothing. Doesn't ever say a damn thing. Just drops 20 and bounce. Not a band account with a 2 says, have my coworkers called in sick. We're remote. Fuck. Young Disciple with a 5 said, Eric, heard you're solid with Chris Kringle. Let him know I want for Christmas all he wants for Christmas, a CGC Gem Mint Signature Series Gooding the Polymath cover C. I'll try to put the bug in his ear. Luigi with a 5 says, serious question. Tom, will Rippaverse be at MegaCon in Orlando? And who is hotter, Sweet Baby Thorn or Yaira making out with Bloodroof? Discuss. We have MegaCon. We will be there. Anticipate that we're there. I get like a formal announcement just to really solidify that, but I already know where we're going to be and everything. So MegaCon is going to happen. I know a lot of y'all are looking forward to that, and that's going to be a massive, massive show or sighting, if you will. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some fun times, and just anticipate that it's going to be a great time. I would have 516. Go ahead.
Just Mark Hamill watch.
Still nothing. Still nothing. Fuck. Somebody please go check on Mark Hamill.
I've already tweeted that out. I already tweeted that out about 11 hours ago. Please someone check on Mark Hamill. That is literally the tweet. That is it. That is all.
Ivan with a 5 seeing people blame Puerto Ricans for Trump win. That's not shocking. Other people think different than the echo chamber. Yeah, I did see that. It was man, I tried to find the clip. I was watching it before, but there was a CNN basically talking about it. And one of the panelists was like, maybe he essentially was like, are we the baddies? Without saying it, because he's all like, you know, we had been talking about for weeks that this was going to hurt him, and him not seeking out, like, I guess, to have a part of his cabinet, Nikki Haley and doing all these things was going to hurt him, and none of that happened. And it's like, yeah, it'd be like that. Over that with a 5 says, as Lotus Eaters has called for Jeremy Clarkson to take stewardship of the UK. Do you agree?
Yes.
There you go. Brass Monkey with a 5 gifted. Shout out. Another 5 gifted. So that's under with gifted 5. Appreciate that. Welcome. All the new members. We have over there with another 10 says Mary Poppins ruined the West while the men were concerned about with monetary policy and bank runs. The very well cared for women were making protest signs and screaming for voting rights. Well, again, it's a culture thing. I think I did today. I made a post where I was discussing this. It's like, for decades, fortunately, and I think this was just in the West in general. So this is just an American problem because, you know, as the UK is dealing with the same shit, you focus so much on. It was easy for non-leftists to focus on just having the best ideas and being smarter than everybody having grass and all this shit. And you find that that wasn't the path to victory. Culture was the path to victory. And these things that people act like, or a lot of people on the quote unquote right act like was insignificant, or even in some cases demonized it, video games as an example, was very, very important. Now I will say that it does looking like there's starting to be a course correction there, and it's very necessary.
I don't know. I think the game director of Grand Theft Auto 6 is having a cry about releasing the game under the presidency of Trump. So
no.
Grand Theft Auto 6, folks, they just told you exactly what
So
that's going to be.
It sounds like it's not going to be a Grand Theft Auto game.
So when that's just made me go like, oh, okay. So maybe I'll wait. I don't know. We'll see.
Fuck. Jacob Joseph with a 20 says, thanks for you both and all that you do. Eric, you've often said the pendulum is still swinging towards woke, just not as quickly. Do you think that with the election of Trump that the pendulum is now swinging the other way? I think there's two ways to answer that. You always got to look at it from the general populace and how they either reject something or embrace something, as well as the shot callers and how they approach it. I think that distinction is important. I don't believe that the shot callers, the mega corporations, the guys that are largely in control of, for example, these various entertainment sectors, like academia, I think they are going to double, triple, and quadruple down on the garbage that they've been pumping out. I do believe that said that there is at least a consideration to reject it more than it has been in years past. I think the election per se is not okay. It's going to do that. No, the election is the lagging indicator that shows you that yes, there may be more people rejecting something a lot more than what they had been in the past. That said, don't get confused or don't couple that with, oh, well, they're going to wake up and change as far as like, I don't know, video games companies are now going to start, they're going to fire all the DEI.
No,
it's just not going to happen. That's different. So the audience is there and they may be changing their views, but I don't think that the status quo is changing. And I'm not saying that as a black pill. I'm saying that as a white pill, because I personally believe that if we're going to get on the other side of that, it's going to happen by way of like smaller studios, smaller companies that aren't attached to these mega corporations.
Yes.
So, and it may be big in like as far as the scale of those, but they're not going to be attached to, again, some mega corporate entity. That's where I'm at. This party ran ads of self-pleasuring and lying to your spouse about your vote because the Republicans want to take away your ability to see corn and the sunset, man, the pelvic floors of the children. The everyman said no, says Buddy Rabbit. Yeah, there was a lot of just weird approach to campaigning there. And got another 10 from Buddy. Says, for the record, America won last night. God bless you all. Shout out. Ego David with a 6. Amy Horowitz did a short on voter ID on X. Okay. Oppressors don't fear lies, they fear truth, says Graggle.
Correct.
You
can apply that to everything.
Yep. Luigi with a 2 says Italians are offended by all of those hand gestures. Stephen De Leon with a 2 says Trump God King, shout out West Texas, shout out West Texas. My man's Celtic with a 5 said, do these people have a humiliation fetish? Personally, I have too much dignity to record myself ugly crying. Yeah.
It's performative. It's performative oppression. I think the best way I can put it. Performative oppression.
Yeah.
From the least oppressed race on the planet.
Yeah. Gamadali with a 50 and okay says it's weird to see so many people so eager to put their mental illness out in the public for everyone to see. We have a sickness in the West. It's
social
fucked.
Media.
It is fucked. Scarred Steel with a 2 says if it isn't for white women, Trump isn't for a white woman. Trump loses. Sorry ass.
No, I said white liberal women. I said white liberal women.
Aiken said the Salem Mysterio mind virus all over again. Zoomer with it said, do you collect Jada Toys Street Fighter figures? I don't have any of those.
No.
Steve De Leon with a 10 says Black Stan Lee is still dodging me because he knows I cross him like Allen Iverson. Doubt it. Ripper can't see me. Mr. Hills versus Babyface, did you celebrate the election in Brighton with your boys?
Mm-hmm. We have big gay sex.
Oh man. We have Rod Press Comics and Toys with a 50 says best thing that could happen to the Dems, says they have a chance to reboot, get rid of Nancy and Chuck. Clintons and the Obamas have lost control. And by the way, this is my man Patrick Thomas Parnell, by the way. Celebrities don't matter. Tulsi, RFK Jr. left. They have a chance to start over. Back American Ninja X on Kickstarter. Shout out. Much love to you, big homie. We have Fear of the Turtle with a 2. Ronald Gump. Lock it in. Yay. Where am I at? We have Defendo 99 with a 10 says the beta for Monster Hunter Wilds destroyed Dragon Age release. I hope Assassin's Creed comes out in February so that Monster Hunter can get the double KO.
Yeah, I mean it did very well. You know, people going, yeah, but it was a free demo. Yeah, that's fine. But I think it also shows there's going to be a high number of sales for that game because there was nearly 500,000 people that turned out for that, including myself. I downloaded it myself. Had a little play.
There you go. The character creator is a lot better than
Well, the women look like women for a start. So it's always not, you can always tell when you're playing a game that's made in the East. Women look like women, not men.
We have Kalioth with a 5 says Kamala thinks she is the president, arriving late to a concession speech that started 20 minutes ago without her. Speech is even on the podium. We got Michael with a 5 says Final Fantasy has the same linear exploring. Square made some adjustments for the sequel, not that these game devs would learn from the past. My man's Lawrence with a 12 months says, what's good, Ken Folk? What's up with it, bro? Says, so Ripperverse, go Ripperverse and go USA. Says. My man's and Cap Gamer with a 52 months says, holy shit, been buying all of your comics so I can collect them. It's been 52 months, a long time. It's a long time, bro. That is a long time. Appreciate you, big homie. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I got to get up out of here because we're already 2.5 hours in. I've streamed way fucking too much. Way too much. What all you got working on? I know, are you for sure streaming tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Give me about an hour
to
decompress and mentally prepare and crawl in the corner and cry. Yeah, we're gonna because I need to finish because I want it all. I want all the cringe. I want all the context. I want everything. Right? Because I think this is a game where in the video, I don't care how it does. I actually want to do a review of this game.
I do too. I do want to be fair to it and do like much like I did with Cyberpunk, just to be fair about it. I want to do the same thing. But yeah, that day is going to require a lot of stuff. I can't remember. I put the number of hours I played Cyberpunk before I did a review. I can't remember. It was a lot. It's in the title. I was like, after sewing, I don't remember, but hopefully I don't gotta play that fucking much on this, but we'll see.
I'm about 45 hours into Dragon Age, but I think 20 of those hours are me with my head in my hands.
That's fair enough.
So I don't know exactly how much gameplay there is in that 45 hours, but yeah. There's a lot of stopping and starting and mentally preparing and ranting and but I am trying to find what you can do and what you can't do, and it's certainly a lot more of the what you can't do.
That's for sure. Me personally, I don't know when's gonna be the next stream. I got a lot of work to do to finish out this week. So I will be hustling and bustling doing that. So if I do pop up for a stream, it'll be like sometime in the weekend, but I got a lot of work to do over the next few days. Y'all keep supporting Blood Ruth, support Agamatic Chronicles Green as well. Jays or Ribersend.com. We want to make sure that we're signal boosting that. And that's all really that I got. Bennett with a 13 months says Dark Brandon F that. We got Dark Maga Energy says with a 13 month. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's all I got. So I will see you guys when I see you. I will be hanging out with you all in Az's chat as he suffers through Dragon Age. And we'll go from there. But I appreciate y'all. Next week we will be on Hill versus Babyface channel. Talking whatever the hell else will happen. Maybe we'll get a Mark Hamill sighting by then. And we'll give you guys an update.
We're gonna have Mark Hamill watch.
Yeah, Mark Hamill
new segment.
Yeah,
taking over from Elton John.
Yes. So we'll see where he's at, but we'll try to find him. Appreciate y'all, man. This was a massive show today, man. We had a big show of 3,000 of y'all were here. So big shout out to all of y'all that was showing love today. But yeah, we got to get out of here. We'll see you next time. And until next time, y'all be easy. Peace out.